Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Renit Arthur aka the Light Lawyer. Today we are going to discuss an interesting topic in criminal law, and this topic is elements of a crime. And those who haven't subscribed my channel, please I request you kindly subscribe my channel so that you do not miss out more videos that I'll be uploading soon. And also please share to your colleagues in different universities so that they can learn, they can know the law. And also please like, comment, ask questions in case you've not understood any aspect. And also feel free to engage in case you've not understood anything. My numbers are there in the bio. You can contact me and we discuss. I've recently noticed that I have people who view, but they do not subscribe. So in case I upload more videos, you will be left out. So not to be left out, kindly subscribe so that we can move together and engage, and we see how to make the law simpler and simpler so that law scholars can manage going through law school without any difficulty. So today I'm going to discuss elements of a crime, and it's under criminal law. So when I talk of elements of a crime, what comes into your mind? What are the elements of a crime? So there are two elements of a crime, and that is actus reus and mens rea. Actus reus and mens rea. Those are the two elements of a crime, but we are going to go in depth so that we understand what is actus reus, what is mens rea, what do they mean, what are they? Are you seeing what are they? So in today's session, we are going to go depth so that we can understand what actus reus is, what mens rea is. Are you seeing? I will start with the general rule. The general rule says that for there to be a crime, both actus reus and mens rea must be present. So now that's the general rule. For there to be a crime, both actus reus and mens rea must be present. Now the question is, what is actus reus? What is mens rea? So I'm going to start with actus reus. When I talk of actus reus, what comes into your mind? Just hear from the word actus reus. You see there is an act. Are you seeing? There is an act. So basically, actus reus can also mean a guilty act. Actus reus, it means simply like an act or omission that can lead to a crime. That act, that action, or that omission that can cause a crime. Let me give an example. For example, if a person goes and steals, that is actus reus. That action of going and stealing, that is the act. The act is stealing. Are you seeing now? That is the actus reus. You've gone somewhere, you've stolen. That is actus reus. Are you seeing? Actus reus, it's basically about the actions of a person that can lead to the commission of a crime. Are you seeing? That is actus reus, the act of a person. Then mens rea. What is mens rea? Mens rea in simple terms can also mean a guilty mind. Mens rea can also mean a guilty mind. Now, mens rea is concentrated on the mind. The intention of a person, the knowledge of the person, the recklessness, the negligence of a person, all of them, they are combined under mens rea. Are you seeing? They are under mens rea. So basically, mens rea, it's how a person says things, how a person, the intent of a person, the knowledge of a person, what that person has in mind. Are you seeing? That is what we call the mens rea. The difference between the actus reus and the mens rea is that the actus reus is only on the actions of a person, the actions that lead to the commission of a crime. But the mens rea, you have to think in mind and plan. Are you seeing? So the mens rea basically is all about like thinking. You have the knowledge of committing a crime, and once you have the knowledge, that is the mens rea. You have the knowledge to go and steal. Now let me give an example so that I can illustrate these two elements, actus reus and mens rea. Assume a woman has a bag, A bag, let me say, has something like 5 million in the bag. Now, a person X sees that woman, knows that in the bag there is 5 million. Are you seeing? Runs and goes and steals that bag from that woman. Now, let me show you that there is mens rea, there is also actus reus. The mere fact that the X knew the bag had 5M and planned to go and steal, now that's mens rea at work. Mens rea at work, mens rea was working to go and steal since there is money. The mind had the knowledge that in that bag there is money. Now that is mens rea. Actus reus, it's the act whereby X ran towards the woman and grabbed the bag and ran. So that is actus reus. And don't forget our general rule. Our general rule is that for a crime, for there to be a crime, both actus reus and mens rea must be present. The mere fact in this scenario that I've just created, there is mens rea, there is also actus reus. This clearly shows that X is liable for theft. Already that is a crime. Are you seeing? So basically, I can assure you that if at all you grasp these key elements, trust me, you will pass criminal law. Those are, you see, criminal law is a bit challenging, but if you grasp these concepts, I can assure you will pass criminal law without any inconveniences. Now, that's basically about actus reus and mens rea. So don't forget the general rule that for there to be a crime, there has to be mens rea and actus reus. Now, however, every general rule it has an exception. Now, an exception of this, it's these strict liability offenses. For the strict liability offenses, you just don't really need the actus reus for a person to be held liable. But for this, I will make another video. You will see another video for strict liability. But just know that for there to be a crime, there has to be actus reus and mens rea. But an exception, those are the strict liability offenses. The strict liability offenses, they do not need mens rea. They only need actus reus. Are you seeing? But now that will be for a different video because that's the topic on itself. Now, I have cases. You see, in criminal law, when you state an element, make sure that you back it up with a case. Are you seeing? As a lawyer, you must back up. You must back up every element or every principle with a case law. Now, I have some cases that illustrate actus reus and mens rea. And the first case that I will use, it's the case of Fagan versus Metropolitan Police. It's a case of 1969, volume 1, Queen's Bench, page 439. In this case, Fagan was driving a car and he was stopped by the traffic police officers. And now, when the police officer stopped him, he went to park the car. Now, accidentally, the car stepped on the foot of the officer. And the officer told the guy that, go back, go back, go back. You stepped on my foot. But the Fagan said that fuck you. He abused the police officer with the term fuck you. Are you saying? And now he stopped the car onto the officer's foot. He never removed it. Are you seeing? And now they sued and they went to court. And now when they reached court, the court said that both mens rea and actus reus were there, and therefore the court held that Fagan was held liable. Now let me show you that in this case there was actus reus and mens rea. Actus reus was proved that the mere fact that he stepped onto the foot of the police officer and the police officer told him, but he refused to remove the car, meaning that he knew that his actions, he knew that what he did, that the car was on the foot of the police officer. That action whereby he drove the car onto the police's foot, now that is actus reus. Then mens rea, it starts from the point whereby the police officer told the guy that drive back, you've stepped on my car. He abused the police officer with the term fuck you, meaning that he had the knowledge. It came into his mind that the car is onto the foot of the traffic officer, but he never removed the car, meaning that he knew that the car was on the foot of the police officer. Now, basically, that's mens rea. Are you seeing? That's mens rea. So, let me give you also another case so that you can try to understand it very well. There is a case of R versus Miller, and this case is a case of 1983, and it's volume 2, appeal cases, page 161. In this case, Miller reached home. After reaching home, he lit a cigarette, and after lighting a cigarette, he threw the cigarette and slept. Unfortunately, the room where he was staying started catching fire, and now he woke up. He saw the mattress on fire and some other stuff. So when he woke up, he saw the room catching fire. He moved out and went in another room and slept, and the fire destroyed a lot of property. So they sued him. On suing, the court held that both Actus reus and mens rea were there, and therefore he was held liable and convicted. Now the question comes, where is the Actus reus there? Where is the mens rea there? Now the Actus reus comes at the point whereby this person lit the cigarette. After lighting the cigarette, he threw the cigarette. That's the Actus reus. Are you seeing? Now, the mens rea came with his recklessness, knowing that his actions led to outbreak of fire, and the mere fact that he saw the fire and he went in another room, that is basically the mens rea, because in his mind, he saw the fire. Now, he would have extinguished the fire. Are you seeing? He would have extinguished the fire, but the mere fact he never extinguished the fire, that shows that he had a guilty mind of causing fire. Now that is the mens rea. That's how you quote the mens rea and the Actus reus. So basically, that's all about Actus reus and mens rea. So don't forget that. Don't forget the general rule. The general rule is that for a person to be held liable, both Actus reus and mens rea must be present. So meaning that if at all any of those two elements is not there, then there is no crime. Are you seeing? This person cannot be held liable. Just as I've said, there is always an exception to the general rule. Are you seeing? So basically that's about Actus reus and mens rea. And if at all you found this session interesting, please like, subscribe so that you do not miss out. Also share to your friends so that they can get to know, so that they can understand. Because in law, we have to help each other through a variety of discussions. Are you seeing? So kindly like, subscribe, share, and also comment. Thank you very much. We meet next time.